Do you know that the way you smile and the intensity of your smile can predict your life satisfaction years after now? In fact, by looking at the way you smile, it can be predicted the kind of quality relationships you would have, your well-being, and how you are able to cope with stress. Yes, some college students took some yearbook photographs in 1960, and years later, about 2001, that is over 40 years after they took those photographs, some researchers looked at how they smiled and how their lives had turned out 40 years after. And it was interesting that they found out that those who smiled genuinely, the kind of smile referred to as the Dutch smile, where you smile with your eyes, were married. A lot of them were enjoying their marriages. A lot of them had good well-being, and they were able to cope with stress better than those in their pictures had the first kind of smile. So you see that the way you smile not only boosts your positivity now, but also can predict your life satisfaction, your ability to cope with stress, and the kind of quality relationships that you build. This is the Architecture of Intentional Happiness show, and I remain your host, Dim Manwobi, the Queen of Happiness. In this show, I come to share with you tips, tools, and interventions that will boost your happiness and increase your life satisfaction. On today's episode, we will be looking at how to savor life, how to enjoy life, and how you can boost your happiness and life satisfaction by simply being present and savoring the things that are happening in your life now. Before we delve into learning how to savor life and the simple things you can do to be present and enjoy the moment, let's practice the Dutch smile. Okay, so what is the Dutch kind of smile? The genuine smile, the smile that comes from the heart, the smile that is likened to you smiling with your eyes. So when you're giving the Dutch smile, you kind of raise the corners of your mouth. And as you raise the corners of your mouth, notice that your cheeks are raised and your eyes kind of are alive. It's likened to like forming a crow's feet around your eyes. And so your eyes are involved. So you're smiling this way. The corners of your mouth are lifted. Your cheeks are lifted. And you're really being present in the smile. Yeah, so let's practice it again. Yeah, because genuine smilers are known to have better well-being, cope with stress, and then form good social relationships with others. So when next you're feeling like, oh, what is all this about? Or you're somewhere and somebody jokes about something, try to give the Dutch smile. Really smile from within. And people like people who smile this way. You attract people to yourself and people will enjoy your company. Not only that, you will begin to enjoy your company even more. So one more time, the Dutch smile. Fantastic. Perhaps you're wondering, like, should I just be going around smiling even when there's nothing funny? What is this smile going to do for me when there's a lot of things happening around the world? There's a lot of negativity. Will I just be pretending that all was well and go about smiling? Whilst you may not be able to change what is happening around the world, you can choose to focus on your circle of influence and do the things that are within your power. Remember, the Architecture of Intentional Happiness is premised on the fact that you may not be able to change the world, you may not be directly responsible for the circumstances around you, but you can intentionally choose the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act. And by doing this intentionally, you can actually take charge of your happiness that is within your control and boost your life satisfaction. In past episodes, we looked at how happiness is about the present, the past, and the future. where the past tense of happiness is about how grateful you are for the past and the lessons you've taken from the events that have happened in your life. And the future tense of happiness being how optimistic and hopeful you are for the future. The present tense of happiness, it's about how you're present in your present, and being present in your present is being able to savor the things happening, where you can have pleasant and frequent positive emotions. Because trust me, when you continually feel weighed down, when you continually feel this rush of negativity around you, it can be depressing, and you will not be optimal to even function and show up in the world the way you want to show up. But if you can experience positive and frequent, pleasant and frequent positive emotions, it boosts your positivity and enables you to show up in the world the way you want to show up. That is what savoring will do for you. So how can you savor at the moment, and what are the different ways that you can be present in your present and enjoy the moment, thereby boosting your positivity and your happiness? Stay tuned with me as I will be sharing how to savor and the different tips that you can quickly apply to boost your happiness. Savoring is simply being attentive and appreciative of the pleasant experiences in your life. You know, as human beings, we have the negativity bias that kind of makes us be focused and fixated on the things that are not working and the negative things around us. But when you pause to pay attention to the pleasant things, even if they are pleasant things that happened in the past, or pleasant things that are happening now, or pleasant things that you're anticipating to happen in the future, it helps to boost your positivity. It's important for you to know that when you pay attention on the pleasant experiences that you have through savoring, it helps to broaden you. Because okay, let's take it from the negativity bias. When we're focusing on the negative things, negative emotions kind of narrows a person. It kind of shuts you down to possibilities. It could even heighten depressive thoughts for you. That thought of, oh, I'm not good enough, I can't do anything well, so why bother? And you know the concept of self-fulfilling prophecy? The more you focus on the negative, and the more you get depressed, the more you are narrowed, and those things that you fear and the negative disempowering stories that you're telling yourself will actually come to pass. So it's more like, I said it, I'm not good at anything, you see all those bad things happening, it's just who I am and all of that. So that's the self-fulfilling prophecy part of it. But the catch here is that self-fulfilling prophecy can also be positive, and savoring can help you experience that. And so what do I mean? When you pay attention and savor the things that are happening to you, you kind of relieve the experience, and it's like it's happening to you all over again. So your positivity is boosted. You have positive emotions when you recall the pleasant, positive things that have happened to you. And when you're in that state of positivity, it broadens and builds you up. You think possibilities, oh, you can reach for the stars, anything is possible. And then you go all out and you give yourself to it, and it actually happens. So that becomes the positive side of the self-fulfilling prophecy. So that's why it's important that you cultivate the habit of stopping at it sometimes to look at the things that are working for you. I remember some time ago where I hosted an event, and after the event, I was feeling so sad and laid back. Like, oh my God, this event flopped. I didn't get the number of sign-ups I wanted to get from it. And I was beating myself up. I didn't sleep well that night. The next morning I woke up and I was just not productive. I couldn't get myself to do anything. So I said to myself, Dima, pause. You are allowing the negativity bias to take control of you. Now is for me to intentionally, you see the word there? The catch isn't that things will not upset you. The catch isn't that, oh, life will go perfectly, your goals will just go the way you wanted it to go. No, things will upset your plans. Things will happen to, cause a shift in what you wanted. But it's for you to intentionally choose how to respond at that time. So what did I do when I was feeling so downcast that my event did not sell the way I wanted it to sell? I just told myself, after I noticed how it was affecting me, I reached out for my gratitude journal, brought it out, and I focused on what are the beautiful things that came out of this workshop. What are the things that happened that are positive. And I was writing the things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that people signed up. I mean, there are some people who have hosted events and nobody signed up, but I'm grateful that people signed up. Yeah, I wanted this number of people to buy the offering that I made afterwards. Those number of people didn't buy, but hey, some people bought. So I wrote that as positivity. And I've also grown. Oh, I learned. By the way, you know that when you're teaching, you're learning twice. So I said to myself, I also learned how to do it better. I also internalized the things I taught at that workshop, so I wrote it down. The more I wrote down the things that worked for that particular workshop, the more I felt more positive, and the more I felt broadened and able to go into my day and conquer. And I spent time savoring those things and being grateful for it. So you cannot change the world, you cannot determine what will happen, but you can choose your response. And when you decide to savor those pleasant things, it can be the pleasant things in your past. So you're reminiscing and you're remembering them, and you're remembering those pleasant things that happened and you're happy for them. You're reliving that experience again. It can be the pleasant things that are happening right now. So what is happening right now that in your present that you can stop and focus on and be grateful for? It can also be anticipatory, the things that you're looking forward to that can boost your positivity. Research has shown it that scheduling a pleasant event not only boost your positivity at that time when you're scheduling it, but also will get the opportunity to boost your positivity and happiness when you eventually do it. So for example, because I like nature and I like to hang out in the beach, walking barefooted on beach sand, or even going to the spa to give myself a treat. When I schedule that I'm going to go to the beach in the next 2 weeks, or I'm going to visit the spa as a way of celebrating my small wins at the end of the month, what research has shown is that at that time when I'm scheduling it, it's like I'm excited, and it boosts my positivity. And then when I go on to do it, I still have a double dose of boost of positivity. So those are kind of the ways that you can apply savoring. So I'm asking you today, what are you grateful for the past? What can you think about, reminisce about that happened in the past, that when you remember it, it kind of counters the negativity that is happening around you and you feel this surge of hope? What of in the present? What are you savoring in the present? What is happening around you right now that you're grateful for and you're savoring in the present? What of anticipatory? What are the things that you're looking forward to that can boost your positivity and your happiness? The more you find the pleasant things that you can savor and pay attention and appreciate, the more you're boosting your positivity, and the more you are making yourself a happier and more productive person. Whether it's something in the past that you're reminiscing about, that when you remember, you just smile. It fills you with so much joy and you just laugh about it because it reminds you of something pleasant that happened. Or it is something in the moment that you're paying attention to and being hyper-focused with your senses, your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your sense of touch and all that. Or it is something anticipatory in the future that you're looking forward to. It's always fantastic to notice the pleasant emotions that pleasant events have for you so that you can savor them and relive those experiences again. It doesn't matter whether it's reminiscent, in the present, or anticipatory. There are different pathways to savoring. It's either you're marveling at what has happened and it fills you with awe. So sometimes I just sit and I wonder at the awesomeness of God. A lot of things that might have happened in my life that I did not intentionally work out, but the supreme hand up there worked it out for me. It just feels, I marvel at the love that he has for me. I marvel at the opportunities that he creates for me. And that's a way of savoring, because when I remember that there are things I couldn't have done for myself that only God would have done for me, it fills me with positivity and I stand in awe of him. It can also be that you are in Thanksgiving. So you're looking at the things that are happening around you. You're being grateful for them, that in spite of all that is not working, this is working. So if you're in a relationship and your relationship is so fantastic, you want to give Thanksgiving for that, even if your business is not doing so well. Or your business is doing so well, but your health is not so fantastic, and so you have to pop drugs every morning. You want to also reflect on the things that are working in your business and give Thanksgiving for that. So that irrespective of the things that may not be working, can you sit and pause and be thankful for those ones that are not working? That is also a way of savoring the experiences and filling yourself with positivity. Or you want to bask in the things that you've done, your achievements. I know that maybe we have been schooled that, oh, you don't blow your own trumpet. It's people that will notice your accomplishments and, give you accolades for it. You can actually give yourself accolades. You don't have to wait for anyone to appreciate you. When you hit a milestone, when you make an achievement, you can bask in it. It's not pride, it's basking in the experience and really savoring the fact that, oh, I put myself out there and I was able to do this. Oh, I ran this race. So for me personally, I'm basking in my growth in keeping up with my fitness goals. And so yesterday someone complimented and said, oh, Dima, you're shrinking. Another person said, oh, I can see the effort you're putting in. I'm not like, it's not getting to my head, but I'm like saying to myself, oh my God, I deserve this because I'm working for it. I'm putting effort towards it. So you can also look at yourself. What milestone have you achieved this year? What things have you set out to do that you can see progress? You can bask in it. You can savor that experience and, feel all of the positivity that comes with it. Or you can luxuriate, enjoy physical pleasure. For example, how do you eat? How do you engage in the simple everyday things of life? By savoring things and paying attention and being appreciative of them, you can turn the ordinary things to extraordinary. Like literally you are eating and you're savoring the fact that, oh, I have food on my table. I'm able to eat the meals that I want to eat. Or I'm even whole enough to eat. I mean, there are people who cannot eat, but you can open your mouth and the fork goes in there and you swallow the food. You can savor that experience. You can be in the bathroom and you're taking your bath and you're just, savoring, being thankful that you have water dripping all over you. So you can luxuriate in the physical pleasures. And it's fantastic to do that because it just helps you be in the moment and appreciate the things that are working for you. So you can either marvel at the things that are happening and it fills you with awe. You can give thanksgiving and it fills you with gratitude for those things that are working. You can bask in the accomplishments that you have made and you give yourself that sense of pride of achievement of what I have done. And you can also luxuriate in the physical pleasures that the ordinary things of life give to you. So rather than just focusing on the negative, through savoring, through paying attention and appreciating the pleasant memories and the experiences that happen to you, you can relive that experience, boost your positivity, and broaden yourself for even going after and achieving more. Have you ever been happy? If you've ever been happy, recall how you felt in that moment and take a mental photograph of it. Yeah? Psychologists have shown that if you can recall a time you were at your best, where your strength was showing up, when you were your happiest, and you have a mental picture of that, You can review that mental picture on days when you don't feel happy, when it looks like things are not working, and it will boost your positivity. So go ahead and imagine you at your best, where you were showing up the way you wanted to show up, where you were happiest, where it didn't matter what the world looked like, where you were just there and you know it was fantastic because you were in the best of moods. Can you recall what was happening then? Can you recall what you were hearing and the kind of conversations you were having? Can you recall what you were seeing and the way you felt being at that time when you were in your happiest and showing up at your best? You can either choose to do this intentional activity this way. Either you write down all of those feelings that you were feeling, the things you were seeing, the things that you were hearing, and the thoughts and words that were coming out of you at that time. Or you can choose to draw the experience. Draw yourself at your best. Draw yourself at your happiest. Draw yourself showing up with all of your strength in full, wearing all of your strength and showing up exactly how you want to show up as your authentic self. Draw a picture of that. Notice that even whilst you're doing this activity, you're feeling those feelings that you felt. You're feeling a reboost of your positivity, yeah? Fantastic. Now take a mental picture of that. And anytime that you feel down, anytime you feel not so happy, and anytime you feel you're not showing up in the world the way you want to show up, recall this mental picture of you at your best and watch as your resilience muscles will grow and your I can do it spirit will come back. Do this activity and send me your comment and your feed forward. I'd like to know how it went for you and how it helped to boost your positivity and your can-do spirit when you were down and you recalled this mental picture that you've created today. That was the intentional happiness activity for today. Remember, go do this activity because a choice to be happy is a choice to live intentionally. And that's the much we can take on today's episode. Catch you again next episode. And if you learned something, if you found this episode transformational, hit the share button, share this with your friends, share it with your colleagues, share it with everyone, because the happier we all are, the happier our world will be. And remember this week to practice your Dutch smile. Raise your sides of your mouth, raise your cheeks, and really smile with your eyes from the bottom of your heart. I remain Dimma Wobe, the Queen of Happiness, and your host on the Architecture of Intentional Happiness show. Until I come your way again, go rock your happiness. And remember, a choice to be happy is a choice to live intentionally.